and yes, betting odds as well. So if you don't want predictions, you can click away now. But if you want to understand why things might happen the way they do, let's get into it. Match 1, Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. We start with a match that honestly feels personal. Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. This rivalry has been building for a long time, going all the way back to the moment when Jacob Fatu was attacked backstage and believed Drew McIntyre was behind it. Since then, this has slowly turned into a full-blown personal feud. What makes this interesting is the dynamic. Drew McIntyre feels like the experienced warrior who has already been through everything. Jacob Fatu feels like the younger, more dangerous force rising up. Now, when I look at WWE storytelling patterns, there's one rule that often shows up. In long, emotional rivalries, the babyface revenge moment usually pays off at WrestleMania. Jacob Fatu fits that role perfectly here, but there's another layer too. Drew McIntyre has been dealing with real-world scheduling issues, movie commitments, and limited availability. That always affects long-term booking decisions. So when I combine storyline plus practicality, my prediction: Jacob Fatu wins not because Drew looks weak, but because this feels like Jacob's breakout WrestleMania moment. Match 2, 6-man tag team match. The Usos plus LA Knight versus the plus Logan Paul plus IShowSpeed. Now this match is going to be pure chaos. You've Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. Now this is interesting from a booking perspective. AJ Lee surprisingly captured the title at Elimination Chamber, which caught a lot of people off guard. And here's the question WWE is now facing. Do they reward that surprise moment with a WrestleMania retention? Or do they correct it and put the title back on a bigger name? From a long-term storytelling perspective, AJ Lee feels more like a transitional phase. And Becky Lynch is still one of WWE's most reliable stars when it comes to big match moments. So when I step back and look at momentum, character importance, and WrestleMania placement, I think Becky Lynch wins the title back, but likely in a way that doesn't completely bury AJ Lee, because WWE still values her as part of the division. Match 4, Gunther versus Seth Rollins. Gunther versus Seth Rollins. Now this is the match where in-ring quality is almost guaranteed. But what makes it interesting is not just skill, it's direction. Because both of these guys are positioned differently in WWE's long-term story. Seth Rollins has been heavily tied into larger storyline factions and future vision plans. Gunther, on the other hand, is being slowly positioned as a long-term dominant force, someone who can carry serious championship credibility. And there's also the Paul Heyman factor floating in the background of Gunther's story direction. So I keep asking myself, who benefits more from winning at WrestleMania? And the answer leans slightly toward Gunther, because a loss here would weaken his long-term unstoppable force image. My prediction: Gunther defeats Seth Rollins, not cleanly necessarily, but in a way that strengthens his dominance. Women's Tag Team Championship, a fatal four-way tag match featuring multiple teams. Current champions defending multiple rising teams, possible replacements depending on availability. Now this match is complicated because even WWE might adjust teams last minute. But when I analyze the situation, there are really two possible directions. WWE rewards consistency and keeps the current champions. WWE creates a WrestleMania moment with a surprise win, and honestly, WrestleMania is usually the place for surprises. So I lean slightly toward a shock outcome. My prediction: the Bella Twins or replacement team, if needed, win, because WWE often uses WrestleMania to create nostalgia-driven moments, especially in multi-team matches. But if they don't compete, then the safest pick becomes Bayley and Lyra Valkyria as a rising duo. Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer. Now this one is less about storytelling complexity and more about momentum. Stephanie Vaquer's reign has been solid but not extremely memorable in terms of standout WrestleMania-level moments. Liv Morgan, however, is a character that thrives in chaotic, high-energy environments and feels more connected with crowd reactions. And WWE often uses WrestleMania to reset momentum in women's divisions. So when I think about direction, Liv Morgan feels like the stronger long-term champion choice here. So my prediction: Liv Morgan becomes the new Women's World Champion main event. Undisputed WWE Championship Cody Rhodes vs. Randy Orton. This is where everything comes together. Randy Orton won the Elimination Chamber, earning his shot at the title. Cody Rhodes went through multiple challengers and finally reached the top again. Then the story took a turn. Orton's heel turn completely changed the dynamic. And just when it looked like a clean face versus face main event, things got personal. Now the introduction of outside involvement and mystery elements has made this storyline slightly messy. But even then, the match still has massive star power. Now when I remove all the noise and just focus on logic, Cody is currently the face of WWE's modern-era. Orton is being used in a veteran legacy role with unpredictability. WWE usually protects long-term champions at WrestleMania main events, so when I step back, my prediction: Cody Rhodes retains the undisputed WWE Championship because it keeps his reign strong and avoids ending it in a chaotic storyline finish. Sometimes everything we predict gets flipped in one night. Now I want to know your predictions. Who do you think walks out as champion? And which match do you think steals the show? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more WWE breakdowns, predictions, and analysis, make sure you subscribe.